This is the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners' first public hearing for our budget. And may we have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Baxter. Here. Commissioner Flores. Here. Mayor Marino.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Sachs. Here. Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward. Here. Thank you.
If you could all please stand. Commissioner Marcy Woodward is going to lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
May we approach today's business as tasks of faith, to do our best within our power to provide positive leadership on behalf of our community and those who live and work here, and that our decisions meet the standards of divine compassion for all. Amen.
All righty. May I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. Now I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication. I have a motion from Commissioner Flores, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. So under trim, we are first required to read into the record the percentage increase in millage over rollback rate and specific purposes for ad valorem tax increases. So with that, Administrator Abruzzo, you are now up. Turn your mic on.
Please.
There you go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In accordance with the Truth in Millage Trim Bill, the Board of County Commissioners shall hold hearings on the tentative budget and proposed millage rate. As stipulated in the Trim Bill, the first substantive issue to discuss shall be the percentage increase in the millage over the rollback rate necessary to fund the budget, if any, and the specific purpose of which ad valorem tax revenues are being increased. On page 4, Palm Beach County countywide proposed millage rate of 4.5000 is 6.10% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Library District proposed millage rate of 0.5491 is 6.33% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, MSTU's proposed millage rate of 3.4581 is 6.23% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire MSTU proposed millage rate of 1.7251 is 11.47% over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County Aggregate proposed millage rate of 6.2862 is 4.64 over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County countywide voted debt millage rate is 0.0330. Increases over rollback revenue for fiscal year 2026. Explanation of increases. Sheriff's net tax increase, $121.9 million. Increases in other constitutional officers, including judicial, $8.6 million. Increase in BCC operations, net of revenues, $12.2 million. Increases in non-departmental operations, $4.1 million. Decreases in reserves, $52.2 million. Decreases in majority revenues on gas tax, $24.1 million. Increases in capital projects, non-applicable. Decreases in debt service, 6.0 million. Increases in other funding sources, 28.8 million. Decreases in beginning balance brought forward, $28.5 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustments, and tax loss from revitalizations by the Value Adjustment Board, reevaluations, I apologize, by the Value Adjustment Board, $23.6 million. Also increased over under rollback revenue of that is $88,722,420. County Library, increases in library operation net of revenues, $3.2 million. Increases in reserves, $2.2 million. Increases for transfers to library improvement and expansion funds, $50,000. Decreases in beginning balance brought forward, $1.9 million. Additional taxes from construction at rollback rate and tax loss of reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $1.4 million. And also the increases over under rollback revenue, $5,921,287. Fire rescue MSTU. Increase in fire rescue operations, net of revenues, $45.8 million. Increases in reserves, $18.8 million. Decrease for transfer to capital project funds, $5.7 million. Increases in beginning balance brought forward, $23.9 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustments, and tax loss of reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $6.8 million. And the increase over and under rollback revenue rate on that line item, $28,209,310. Jupiter Fire MSTU, increase in fire rescue operations net of revenue, $3.4 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate and tax loss and reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $128,000. And finally, Madam Mayor, the increase decrease over under rollback revenue, $3,281,207. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Gotta go.
Page 6 contains the budget briefing and highlights that includes proposed transfers and amendments to the fiscal year 2026 tentative budget. Pages 7 and 8 contain a summary of the proposed transfers and amendments. The transfers and amendments do not result in increases on property tax.
Okay, thank you very much. Next order of business. We have comment cards, so we have, go ahead, Commissioner Woodward.
We have 6, but the first card, we have someone who needs a sign language interpreter and requested a few extra minutes.
That'd be fine.
So, okay.
Which one?
The first one, Eduardo Burkhart.
Yep.
And after Mr. Burkhart, we will have Sheila Jaffe and Noam Brown.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, for explaining the budget, and I was able to go over everything, and I was just really flabbergasted with everything that I had seen and how we're spending our money. And I have a proposal that the property taxes, instead of increasing property taxes every year, we have more sales tax, that we gain more revenue from that instead of the property taxes. I think that that would help with our budget. That was one of my suggestions. And then it seemed like with the budget, in the last 5 years, it's gone up astronomically. But if you look at the previous years before that, it went up just a small amount. From 2016, 17, 18, 19, it seemed just a little bit. In the last 5 years, it's just gone up and up so much. And I'm just wondering what the cause of that is, if it's because of inflation, or what's the reason it's gone up so much more than it had in the previous 5 years. So you can see, if you look at 2016, that it had gone up several $100,000. Every year, it went up just a few $100,000. And then in the last few years, it's gone up a few million. It's just gone up a lot more than the previous years before, and I'm wondering why there's such an increase. I don't understand the reason for the increase. And then my next shocking thing that I found out was that we're spending $30 million on golf operations. Why are we spending so much money on that? I think that's unnecessary. There's a lot of people from the public that are not using the golf courses, and I don't think that we should be spending so much money. I don't think that should be coming from the public, as well as how much money we spend on the parks. There are some parks that are great, and some people play there, but there's so much of the park land that's not utilized. And it just seems like such a waste of taxpayers' money. And I believe that that's another reason we're going over the budget so much. And then I had another question about the library. We put so much money into the library, and there's so much money spent on books, and the books are just sitting there on shelves. Everybody's so focused on technology, on the internet, on the computer, that nobody's even using the books. I think that that's a waste of money as well. And then our president, with Trump, we have secret services, and Florida is spending a lot of money on our police and everything, supporting him, protecting him. And I wanted to guarantee that we're getting that federal reimbursement, because that is a federal operation that should not be paid for with our state tax dollars. But I think that that's affecting our state budget. And then with golf, that's another thing that we're spending so much money on. So thank you. I think that we just need to be wise with our money and careful how we spend it. But it would be nice to have the property taxes decreased and be able to utilize revenue from other places. But I think that we'd be better off increasing sales tax and decreasing property taxes and moving the money around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does this work?
Yes, it does. Pull the cord. It does. It's working. It's on.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Sheila Jaffe, and I used to be a business owner in Boca Raton, printing business for a number of years. Before that, I was in the healthcare industry. I worked in a long-term care facility in Camden, New Jersey. And right now, for 30 years, I have been I'm lucky to have long-term health care insurance, which is almost impossible to get. But when I need it, and when my husband needs it, will we have people there to help us, to work for us? And I wanted to share some facts with you about what's happening in Florida with all our retirees moving here and healthcare needs. Almost 50% of the healthcare workers in Florida are immigrants. Labor shortages has exacerbated pre-existing staffing crises, particularly in long-term care facilities that rely heavily on foreign-born employees. Healthcare, especially elder care and nursing homes, has lost a substantial portion of its workforce in South Florida. Florida is already projecting a shortage of nearly 60,000 nurses in 2035. This understaffing can compromise resident care and safety. More seniors requiring Medicare are now retiring to Florida. Who is going to be caring for them? Most of us have elderly family members who are in need of long-term care, but short-sighted and will jeopardize the welfare of our senior loved ones and push the burden of care on family members, causing a ripple effect of social and economic problems in our county. Mostly women in the sandwich generation are caring for parents and children as unpaid workers. We really need to address this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Hello, my name is Noam Brown, resident of Lake Worth. I am a early childhood music educator. Been working with children in this county for about 20 years, and I'm here today because I'm very concerned about the impacts, including the budgetary impacts of the 287G agreement that our local law enforcement is cooperating with ICE on. And so, having this cooperation, this 287G agreement, having ICE come into our communities is Hey. Hey. It's terrifying. And it is made worse with the cooperation from local law enforcement. I know that, these things that, like I said, I live in Lake Worth Beach, and we're witnessing these incidences happening, multiple incidences on a daily basis in our neighborhoods, from a lot of different agencies, and it's disturbing and violent. I'm talking about the effect that it's happening on the children that I witness and that I interact with, but also just children in my community. And I'm thinking about, the impact on these children when they, are fearful that they don't know if they're going to be coming home to their parents being there. They're fearful of what's going to happen on their way to school. People are being stopped. And so, what additional services, what are we, is the county budgeting what is the county budgeting to, provide for these traumatized children and, services that these people are going to need. Families are so fearful of detention and deportation that some of them are keeping their children home from school, resulting in declining attendance, which I'm sure you're aware of. And so these are things that do impact our budget. So I'd like to bring it to your attention for consideration. I'm sure you're already considering it, but it needs to be thought of in terms of the budget. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Flores, your light is on.
Sir, you say you're a teacher, correct?
Correct.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for voicing your opinion. I know this is hurting a lot of the community members out there, and you being here today, voicing that means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to many different people in the communities. I understand there's over 5,000 kids that are not reporting to schools, and that translates into jobs being cut locally. So thank you for what you do as a teacher, and thank you for speaking for those that don't have a voice.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores.
Thank you. We have Barbara Erev, Peter DePasquale, and Catherine Wagner-Reese.
Hi, good evening. I am Barbara Erev, and I live in Delray Beach. And I want to speak to you about what is happening to immigrants in the county and the effects it may have on the county's 2026 budget. My comments are on the agricultural sector. So first I want to say that as the previous speaker was talking about, most of the people, we've been really hearing almost on a daily basis that our neighbors, that are immigrants, are being threatened and picked up. And most of the people I know are not criminals, and they shouldn't be hunted down and put into cages. But in 2026, I believe that these mass deportations will not only have a human toll, but will have negative consequences to our local economy and local tax revenues and increase the need for services. So as all of you know, Palm Beach County is a major agricultural center, recognized as one of the largest in the United States for its agricultural output and economic impact. As stated, there's the executive director of the Farm Workers Coordinating Council of Palm Beach County has made a statement. The current immigration laws have created a lot of fear among workers, leading to many to stay home instead of working. The absence of immigrant labor will lead to reduced production and higher prices. The mounting labor shortages can result in smaller harvests, reduced crop production, and spoilage. Reduced supply can then lead to higher costs for consumers. Contrary to some public statements that claim it will be easy to replace immigrant workers in the field, farmers currently are struggling to find workers willing to take on these labor-intensive jobs. Some have been forced to reduce their crop output. Also, there is a higher cost and a much longer lead time to apply for H-2A visas. The financial pressures and operational challenges from labor shortages, especially for smaller farmers, could put their long-term viability at risk. Jeb Smith, who is the president of the Florida Farm Bureau Federation, said that any time that there is a threat to not getting a safe, affordable, and abundant food supply, it should be concerning to the American public. We do not want to be dependent on foreign countries for our food. That could be a very devastating reality. That is a dangerous thing to dabble with. Jeb Smith further states that the government is killing farming.
Thank you. And may I remind everyone that your comments really need to be addressing the budget and the millage rate that we're talking about this evening. Thank you. Who's next?
Ready?
Go ahead,
Hi,
sir.
my name is Peter DePasquale. I came here for one reason, and it's to discuss the sheriff's budget. And they're really heavily staffed, and it's impossible. It's possible they're way too big and can't get accountability. To nobody in this room will this look like these lights are off. But when they're bored, they'll stop you and pull you out of a car and threaten you, make up a bunch of different scenarios that I was taken out of my car, handcuffed, arrested for recording them lying about these lights being on and the distance they can be read from. And then after denying a supervisor to be dispatched several times, finally one shows up, and then magically I'm let go unarrested and not even a ticket, because this is complete baloney. And that's what they're doing because they're bored, because there's so many of them. Internal Affairs does nothing, and they looked at one deputy and sustained it, but the other two, they just brushed it aside. And one of them, his name is Christopher Byrne, he got in trouble months later for beating the hell out of someone while they were subdued by two other deputies, and they keep screaming, stop resisting. Well, it's kind of hard to stop resisting when three guys are holding you down and punching the hell out of you. So, and in your PBSO records refuses to give me the records that I paid for repeatedly and only send me what I sent to Internal Affairs, but they refuse to send me their body cams, videos, you name it. They refuse to give it to me, and they keep charging me $600 for that privilege. So I would really like to say that all this budget, why don't they actually do something with the money that they're getting instead of asking for more? And they're not doing the right, like I'm 100% disabled vet. It hurts like hell for me to even stand here, let alone have to come here and devote a year. It'll be a year, September 10th, 11th, something like that. It'll be a year, and they still keep sending me what I didn't ask for. Why would I want to send Internal Affairs records, ask PBSO records for the records that I'm entitled to, and they send me what I gave them instead of what I'm asking for and charging me for what I gave them? Secondly, I just got to leave it with this, that this has been an awful and disgusting and disgraceful thing. Nobody on earth can possibly say these lights are off when they're on and stop me for it and then arrest me because I refuse to answer their questions. And then search my truck, search my weapon, and then let go with nothing and still
Thank you,
not getting
sir.
an answer.
Thank you, sir.
Disgusting.
Hello, I am Catherine Wagner-Reese from Boynton Beach, and I will open with a happy statement. Thank you so much for that gorgeous Canyon Library. It has become really the hub of our community, and along with that, we got a traffic light right there, so we can get there in and out safely, so thank you. I was going to the library the other day, and I was shocked. I saw a man on a motorcycle with a helmet, and he went in front of a landscape truck, and then behind the landscape truck came a black sedan with flashing lights, and then they all went together away. And so I stayed to watch more, and it happened once more, so I can only assume that was ICE with targeting landscape trucks. That is distressing. I could only think of, we need our landscapers, and what will happen to their families. But finally, it will affect our economy, because I'm telling you, my family that always visits me for Thanksgiving is not coming this year for fear that they would look different than other people here and possibly be detained. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we had one non-speaking card that'll be entered into the record.
Okay, so now we're going to return to the board for discussion on the funds and proposed millage rate. And I'm actually going to start because there's a lot of information in the paper. Sorry that it's incorrect. Sorry that there are headlines that read incorrectly. But I'd like to really kind of try to clear something up. I mean, yes, we have a budget that's over $9 billion, but that is not what you're taxed on. The taxable part of our budget is roughly $2.1 billion. Yes, this year the sheriff will be getting $1.01 billion, so that's roughly 50% of our budget. Fire rescue will get close to $500 million, so that's 22% of the budget. So that leaves 28% of the taxes that you pay going to service everything that we provide here in the county. Roadway network, stormwater, sewer, trash pickup, airports. Sorry, airports are an enterprise fund. But what I'm trying to say is that when everyone thinks that our budget is $9 billion, that's not what's being collected in taxes. So I know there's going to be board discussion about what we want to do in the way of taxes, but I just want you to know that 28% of what you pay in taxes actually goes to make sure you get the services that you want. And the gentleman who brought up the golf course, let me tell you about our golf courses. They pay for themselves. We're not in the business of having golf courses not pay for themselves. They pay for themselves. The airport is an enterprise fund. That is not something that your tax dollars go towards. We have other enterprise funds. And what also makes up part of our budget, over $4 billion, is reserves and money that hasn't been spent yet, because we have capital improvement projects. We need to keep our buildings up. We need to expand our buildings. We need to make sure our roadways are in place. We need to make sure that if we have to build more fire stations, we can build those. If we need to build more police substations, we build those too. And oh, by the way, in that 28%, that also pays for those capital improvements for fire rescue and for police. And you know why people want to be there? Because of our public safety. So with that, anybody who wants to turn their light on and follow that with comments, go right ahead. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. a few things, and thank you for clarifying some misinformation that's out there. People do see a $9.6 billion budget, and they get concerned that that's what they're paying every year. That's not the case. We have money that rolls forward every year that stays there, and we do have a certain amount in reserves, lots of money in reserves that moves forward. We also have a lot of capital improvement projects, and we've had costs go up. But I will say, and we will get there eventually, I think we should, as a county, look at things to prioritize. I have prioritized infrastructure projects. We have a lot of capital improvement projects that have been left behind. And a few things, as we know recently, DOJ has come in and they've said, hey, we have some serious concerns with how much your budget has gone up. I am absolutely in favor of trying to go to a rollback rate today for our millage rate, because I want us as a county to be able to say to our taxpayers, we can find areas to cut back on so that our taxes for our residents don't go up. I think it is essential for us to be able to do that. There are several things that have been brought to my attention I have dug into, because one of the things that was proposed previously and we've talked a lot recently about nonprofits and being some good and some bad. And it was brought to my attention when I spoke to staff that some nonprofits seem to get the majority, if not all of their funding from the county. And I want that to end. I do not want us to keep just paying for them. They should be able to raise their own money if they're truly going to be partners. Partners mean they have their own money, we contribute money, and it should be set at a certain percentage. It was brought to my attention recently that percentage, when we put out RFPs, is roughly 25%. One of the projects that seemed to be concerning to me after some conversations was the Homeless Coalition. So I would like to pull that funding going forward. And I would also like to set us at the rollback rate. And Sherry, it looks like according to the documents here that we were provided, the rollback rate would be 4.2413.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it at that and see where my fellow commissioners stand. Thank you.
Commissioner Woodward?
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Vice Mayor, for what you just had to say, because, we've all been having a lot of these discussions lately, and, new construction that's coming onto our tax rolls for the first time. Those are some big numbers that it's new taxes that have never been a part of our tax rolls before, and we don't account for that when we keep the millage rate the same. And, we've also continued to have really good interest and investment earnings, thanks to our current administrator, previous clerk, doing a lot of that work. And I know even on my call yesterday with Solid Waste Authority, we're still very high interest rates. So these are earnings on tax dollars that are sitting there right now, and it's not just sitting there anymore. It's working for us to get more money. So I would be in support of that, just because I know with new construction and interest in investments, I think that we are getting more than we used to. And I think it would be beneficial for our taxpayers to participate in that in their own way instead of us just taking it. So I would support that.
I see no more lights. Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the things that we recently talked about included in this budget is the 6% across the board increase for all county employees. And I know that some of my colleagues are discussing the idea of rolling back millage rates. The mayor indicated as such that our millage rate, from what we get from ad valorem taxes, the current property taxes, is $2.167 billion, which is not a majority, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at this incorrectly, of where our tax dollars come from, where our budget comes from. A lot of that is the fund balance, and there's other areas that we're using and spending in terms of coming up with this $9.475 billion budget. I just want to remind everybody that keeping in mind that even if we do increase our employees here at the county by 6%, we're still below a lot of our other adjacent counties, adjacent municipalities when it comes to some of the things that we're paying our employees. I.e., I can speak directly in terms of planning and zoning. As a planner, if I were going to go to the private sector or come to the public sector, it would be hard to get me to come to the county for the rates that I see that the county is paying today, because I can get at least 10 to 20% more anywhere else. But we want to make sure that we're keeping a high level of services. So just keep in mind, 20% of our budget, or 22% of our budget, is ad valorem taxes. So we can consider reducing that, but remember, we do want to increase what we're paying our employees. Everything else has gone up. When you talk about inflation, the cost of road construction. Earlier today, we talked about a project that was originally $600,000 that went to $800,000. You can't get water from a rock. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You can't go negative and think that we're going to be able to cover these expenses. So I, for one, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. I would not be in support of reducing the millage rate.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve certain budget transfers and amendments for those county funds as more specifically set forth on pages 9 through 23 of the September 9, 2025 public hearing budget document. Such transfers and amendments totaling $131,217,587.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? See that the motion for the transfers carries 7-0.
Thank you. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County countywide tentative millage of 4.5000, which is a 6.10% over the rolled back rate of 4.2413, and the countywide voted DEP millage rate of 0.0330.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion?
I'd like a roll call vote, please, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
Commissioner Flores. Yes. Commissioner Powell.
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks. Yes. Commissioner Weiss.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodward.
No.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
No.
Mayor Marino.
Yes.
With 5 aye, 2 nay.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County countywide tentative budgets of $8,035,339,724.
I have a motion from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Flores. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. Okay, we're going to return to the board for discussion on the library district. And what I would be looking for is a motion to adopt the library district tentative millage.
Make a motion to adopt the Palm Beach County Library District tentative millage of 0.5491, which is 6.33 over the rollback rate of 0.5164.
Okay, your microphone wasn't on, Joelle, so I'm just hoping that they heard that. Did the clerk hear that?
Second.
As long as the clerk heard it, we're good. Okay, thank you. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. Would you like to continue, Commissioner Weiss? Commissioner Flores?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County Library District tentative budgets of $268,512,133.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Oh, in unison, we have several. We'll give this one to Commissioner Sacks. All in favor? All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. We're now going to return to the board for discussion on the MSTU. I will need someone to make a motion to adopt the countywide MSTU budget.
Mayor?
Go right ahead.
Thank you. Mayor, I'd like to motion to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative millage of 3.
I'm sorry, we missed one line above it. It's the MSTD.
Oh, got it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I said
think maybe
MSTU
I
instead of
should put
MS.
my
No, it was my
glasses
fault.
on.
I said MSTU, because I misread it. Yes, so Commissioner Sacks, it's the motion about that one for the MSTD.
MSTD. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County MSTD tentative budget of $167,648,387.
$646,000.
We could do that too. That's fine. No objection. That's right.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sacks, a second from Commissioner Flores. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. Commissioner Sacks, why don't you do the MSTU ones while you're at
I'll do
it?
the MSTU. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative millage of 3.4581, which is 6.23% over the rollback rate of 3.2554.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. And Commissioner Sacks, one more.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU tentative budgets. Now, let me see if I can get this right. Is that 1 billion?
It is.
Damn. Strike that from the record. Did not say damn.
No profanity.
I said darn. $1,086,646,884.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Sacks, a second from the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. See, that motion carries 7-0. Okay. We're going to return to the board for discussion on the Jupiter Fire MSTU. I see no lights on. Commissioner Woodward, why don't you go ahead and make that motion for us? You don't want to?
Motion to adopt Palm Beach County Fire MSTU tentative millage of 1.7251, which is 11.47% over the rolled back rate of 1.5476.
I know. We have
Said
to add
Jupiter.
Jupiter into the record there.
Did I not say Jupiter?
Do it one more time.
Jupiter. Do I need to read the whole thing again? Motion to adopt Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire MSTU tentative millage of 1.7251, which is 11.47% over the rolled back rate of 1.5476.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0.
Okay,
And we
motion-
probably won't be doing this next year.
Last time, yes. Motion to adopt Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire MSTU tentative budget of $30,827,578.
I have a motion and a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. So we're going to come back to the board for a discussion on the MSTU Unincorporated Improvement Fund. So, Commissioner Powell, why don't you lead us in that one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Palm Beach County MSTU Unincorporated Improvement Fund budget of $17,654,000.
17 million?
$17,654,705,000.
I have a motion from Commissioner Powell, a second from Commissioner Flores. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. We are now back to the adoption of the tentative aggregate millage rate. So who would like to do that? Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the Palm Beach County tentative aggregate millage of 6.2862, which is 4.64% over the rolled back rate of 6.0073.
All in favor? Aye. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor,
What? Do I have a second?
please?
Commissioner Flores? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. We have adopted the millage. At this point, this was our first reading. We'll have a second reading. We are now adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.